When you turn on good old Counter-Strike 1.6, something clicks inside. It's not just the start button, it's like opening a door to the past. A familiar feeling immediately appears: simple graphics, rough textures, the sound of footsteps that seem to be ripped from childhood memories. On the screen is a map of Italy, an ancient Italian town. The sun falls on the pavement, and you know, terrorists are hiding behind these walls. Dozens of hours spent in clubs come rushing back, but now you're sitting at your laptop, your hands on the mouse, the monitor warming up slightly, and the battle begins. Before diving into the game, you glance at the screen and seem to say to yourself, if you're already here, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments what you'd like to play next. Maybe Dust 2? Maybe something from the old legendary games, Quake, Half-Life, or even NFS Underground. It all depends on the audience. Support is like armor in the first round. It seems like a small thing, but without it, you can't get through. First round, you buy the default, a pistol, armor, no diffusion, but a feeling of confidence is already deep inside. You run through narrow streets, where every turn is a risk, every sound could be your last. Your pulse quickens slightly, your breathing evens out. The familiar scent of adrenaline, like you're a teenager again. You hear footsteps. Somewhere ahead, around the corner, someone is moving. Italy has always been a map of deception. He who shoots first wins, not the one who listens. You freeze, the mouse trembling slightly in your hand. You turn, and there he is. The enemy. He doesn't notice you. One quick movement, a headshot. First blood. The round is won, the team is celebrating in the chat. You feel a slight sense of pride. This is the beginning, but it's already clear, today will be a long match. Italy rarely lets you go easy. The next rounds fly by. Now you have money, you buy an M4A1, your old, reliable friend. That unmistakable sound of gunfire. No bells and whistles, no skins, no shiny gloves, just the pure, precise sound. Each burst seems to beat the rhythm of your heart. You walk through the bazaar, the place where the fate of rounds is decided. There could be an enemy in every window, a sniper behind every barrel. The wind carries dust, and the walls are covered in traces of past battles. Italy is more than just a map. It's a stage where every player plays their part. And then the moment, the hostages. They're somewhere nearby, a quiet voice is heard. Your heart sinks, there's only one enemy left. You move slowly, cautiously, as if afraid to breathe loudly. The sound of footsteps approaches. You feel it before you see it. He emerges from the alley, turns, but it's too late. You press the trigger, one short burst. Victory. A round for counterattack. There's a slight fatigue in your head, but it's a pleasant fatigue. The kind that comes when you're completely immersed in the game. Your hands move automatically on the keyboard, years of habit. The scoreboard reads 3-0. A great start. You look at the screen, at the minimap, and realize, the real game is about to begin. The enemies are adapting, starting to act more intelligently. You hear the first smoke, the first flashbangs, a white light on the screen, and your heart stops for a second. You roll back, feeling your fingers searching for the reload button. And back into the fight. 1 against 2. The chances are slim, but there's faith, and the memory of hundreds of such rounds. You catch the first one in the window, fire a short burst. A hit. The second one goes for a warm-up, but you're faster. A moment, and silence. The round is yours. The monitor reflects your hands, a slight tremor in them, but it's not fear, it's excitement. The first 10 minutes of the game fly by in a single breath. Everything around freezes. There's no time, no outside world. Just the screen, the map, Italy. The rounds follow one after another. Your fingers seem to move on their own, as if your body remembers something it learned long ago. Every mouse click is precise, every movement confident. This isn't just a game, it's a reflex honed over the years. Italy unfolds gradually, like a fine wine. With each passing minute, you sense more of its character. Narrow passages, sharp turns, the sounds of doors, enemy footsteps, the echo of gunshots bouncing off the stone walls. It all blends into the rhythm you live by. You enter through the basement, where it's usually quiet. The smoke hasn't cleared yet, and visibility is minimal. Your pulse quickens. You hear footsteps behind the wall, enemies are advancing in a group. You crouch and look through the scope. There's only one way out. It's them or you. The first 10 minutes of the game fly by in a single breath. Everything around freezes. There's no time, no outside world. Just the screen, the map, Italy. The first burst misses. The second hits the target. An explosion of blood on the wall, a brief silence, and then more gunshots. You retreat, hide behind boxes, reload, your mind completely focused. At this moment, there's nothing but the game. The round drags on. There are 2 opponents left, and you're alone. You know you can't retreat. Italy doesn't forgive those who lose momentum. You circle around the other side, exiting through the market where the snipers usually hang out. Footsteps approach. Your heart beats faster, your hand grips the mouse tighter. And then it comes, the moment. An enemy jumps out, a shot, and that's it. Victory. The round is yours. The word, MVP, flashes on the screen. A slight smile. No big words, just the satisfaction of a clean game. You look at the score, it's already 6-1. Everything is going perfectly, but deep down you know, at any moment, everything could turn around. And as luck would have it, it's precisely at this moment that the enemies start playing harder. The next round begins with flashbangs exploding. White light, you can't see anything. A grenade lands at your feet, you manage to jump back, but lose half your health. You hear footsteps, they're coming in aggressively. You hide in an archway, firing short bursts, one to the head. The second misses. The third hits again. But there are too many of them. The round is lost. For a second, a slight irritation sets in. Not anger, just the realization that the best part is yet to come. You exhale and prepare for the next round. New purchase. This time, an AWP. That same reload sound that always inspired respect and fear. Italy isn't the best map for a sniper, but that's precisely what makes the game exciting. You sit down by the fountain, look down the alley, and wait. Silence. And suddenly, a flicker. One frame, one mouse movement. A shot. -1. You don't even think, you just act. The second enemy jumps out the door, tries to get around, but you sense their movement, and then another shot. Double kill. Classic. At this moment, the camera shakes slightly, reflecting your hands on the laptop. You play not for the win, but for the feeling. For those seconds when everything aligns, when your hand, your aim, and your intuition work as one. Italy starts to turn against you, the enemies throw smoke, flank you, play dirty but smart. You lose a couple of rounds in a row. 6-4. The score is dwindling, and somewhere deep inside, that same feeling appears, excitement. You can't just sit and wait. It's time to regain the initiative. The next round begins with an aggressive push. You grab the MP5, fast, light, almost silent. You run through the basement and out to the market. One enemy with an AWP doesn't expect anyone to get so close. You fire before they can even turn their head. -1. The other one hears you're nearby, but he's a second late, that's enough. The round is yours. 7-4. You exhale, bring your hand to the mouse, and feel the warmth of your palm. Everything is going according to plan. And it's here, in this moment, that you remember, all of this is going to the TapPlaay channel. A place where games aren't just entertainment, but part of history. Where every map is a separate chapter, every firefight like a line in a player's diary. Where it all starts with a single play button. For a second, you want to thank those who watch, who like, who comment, and who suggest new games. And not even out loud, just silently, thank you, guys, for being here. The round continues. The enemies are trying to enter through the tunnel again. You hear footsteps, turn around, throw the flash drive, and go first. This time, everything goes according to plan. 3 people fall in a row. A 3-kill streak. Your fingers tremble slightly, but you maintain the rhythm. 8-4. Halfway through the match, you sense it's just beginning. The middle of a match is always a special feeling. Gone is the ease of the first few minutes, when everything was going perfectly. Now every mistake is costly. Every step, every pixel can be decisive. You know the map, you know your enemies, but you feel like they've studied you too. Italy fills with sounds, grenades, screams, reloads. Everything melts into chaos, but this chaos is the essence of CS 1.6. Not the beautiful graphics, not the special effects, but pure struggle. You decide to change your strategy. You sit in the corner, listening to footsteps. Someone comes overhead, someone throws a flashbang, but you wait. They think you've retreated. They're wrong. The first one comes out, an instant burst. The second one tries to flank. You feel his movement, as if you can see through walls. Another short press, and silence. The round is won, but the joy doesn't last long. The next round is a disaster. One careless move, a grenade to the legs, and everything falls apart. You look at the screen with slight irritation, not anger, just the realization that even the best have their failures. 8-5. The score is dwindling again. You exhale. Your hands are slightly sweaty, a familiar feeling when concentration is at its peak. You pick up the M4A1 again. No skins, no frills, just pure metal, precision, and reliability. On Italy, this weapon is like an extension of your hand. The round begins quietly. You walk down an alley, where the stones under your feet make a familiar sound. You scan every corner with your scope. A shadow flickers in the distance. You fire short bursts. A hit. The enemy falls. But somewhere nearby is another. You feel his breath, even though the screen shows only the darkness of the basement. He runs out with a knife, thinking he'll make it. No. A point-blank burst, and victory again. 9-5. You almost feel in control, but the enemies aren't giving up. They're starting to act as a team. You notice, their grenades have become more accurate, their flashbangs land perfectly, smoke is moving toward where you usually stand. They're reading you, and that's what makes the game real. The next round is a knife fight. You don't have time to buy a weapon, so you decide to take a risk. Steps, acceleration, moving toward the hostages. An enemy with an AK comes around the corner, but you're faster. Jump, strike, a second strike, and the knife goes in right away. Victory. In moments like these, you feel like more than just a player, a hunter. The score on the screen is 10-5. Everything points to the first match potentially ending in your favor. You glance at the timer, realizing that more than half an hour has passed. But time seems to have vanished. CS 1.6 can do that. Erase reality. You just play. You simply live in the moment. The next rounds are like swings. 10-6. Then 10-7. Then 11-7. They press, you respond. Each round is a little story. Sometimes you saved hostages, sometimes you died first, sometimes you're left alone against everyone. But the longer the match, the more immersive it becomes. You no longer notice the camera, the light from your laptop, or the noise around you. There's only Italy. Your hands work automatically. Your eyes move quickly, scanning every corner. Your body's memory takes over. It's as if you're not playing, but someone else, focused, perfect. You remember your first games, the ones with more noise, less control, but more passion. Now you play calmly, confidently. You know that panic is the enemy of accuracy. That's the power of old school CS. Everything is simple. You see, you shoot. Or you don't. 12-7. You grab the AWP. You decide to risk it again. Italy doesn't forgive mistakes, but a sniper here can change everything. You sit down in an alleyway and wait. Silence. Shot. 1, then 2. Double kill. You don't rejoice, you just move on. Your concentration is at its peak. The score is 13-7. Almost the end of the first half. You feel fatigue creeping up somewhere deep inside. But with it comes inspiration. Each round is like a separate fragment of a film, where you are both the screenwriter and the main character. The nickname TapPlaay flashes across the screen. Just a brief moment, but it feels like a symbol. Not just a channel. It's a reminder of why all this exists. To preserve the spirit of the old CS. The one where graphics weren't the deciding factor, but the feeling of the moment. 14-7. The enemies take a break. You sit quietly, drink water, and stare at the screen. A breather. But inside, everything is seething. You know, the end is yet to come. The tension grows with each passing minute. It seems you're leading, everything is going according to plan. But it's precisely at moments like these that the game decides to remind you, you can't relax. The round begins in chaos. 3 grenades at once, flash, smoke, and he. Everything is blinding. You instinctively press back, jump behind a box, but the explosion catches up. Half your health is gone in a second. You realize, the enemy calculated everything. They knew where you would be. 14-8. You exhale, move the mouse slightly, as if releasing invisible tension. On the screen, defeat, but in your head, analysis. The error isn't in your reaction. The error is in predictability. You decide, the next round will be different. The round begins. You're not going down the center, not along the standard route. Immediately turn left, a narrow passageway, almost no one comes here. Enemy footsteps can be heard somewhere in the distance. You wait for them to pass. Then, 2 short shots to the back. The first falls, the second doesn't even have time to turn. 15-8. And once again, Italy is filled with the sounds of victory. But the joy isn't loud. It's quiet, mature. You simply nod, as if confirming to yourself, yes, this is how it should be. The next round starts slowly. You notice that the enemies have started placing mines in unexpected places, changing positions. These aren't the same players they were at the beginning. They're learning, adapting, getting smarter. You reach a crossroads. A bullet whizzes past the screen, an enemy AWP. Your heart stops for a second, but your hands move faster than your thoughts. You strafe to the right, fire a short burst, a hit. The sniper falls. 16-8. Half the match is over. But now you feel tired. Your eyes are tired from following the movement, your fingers are a little tense from the long game. You pause again, take a sip of water, and for a second your gaze wanders from the screen. In the reflection of the laptop, you see yourself, headphones in, focused, as if you're fighting a war, not a game. When you return to the fight, the feeling is slightly different. Every movement is now measured, economical, without fuss. It's as if you can feel the game in your skin. Italy becomes a living organism, and you're a part of it. The round begins. You move down a narrow corridor, hearing someone breaking down boxes. You exit cautiously, aiming at head level. The first bullet hits right on target. The second one finishes him off. The third one tries to escape. A grenade catches him around the corner. 17-8. With each round, you feel victory is near. But then comes the moment when everything changes. In the next round, you decide to take a risk. You go first. And that's precisely what turns out to be a mistake. 2 shots, and the screen instantly goes gray. Death. You sit quietly, but it's clear on your face. Yes, it hurt. The round is lost. You sit in silence. The monitor glows softly, your hands rest on the keyboard, your breathing gradually evens out. In this hour, it's as if you've lived through an entire story, with ups, mistakes, nerves, inhalations and exhalations. And all this is inside good old CS 1.6. You can hear the hum of your laptop's fan, the dripping of water somewhere in the game, the creaking of Italy's doors in the distance. The world of this map lives its own life, even when the round is over. You look at the screen, at the crosshair that has guided you through dozens of battles. These pixels, this menu music, this reloading sound, it's all painfully familiar. CS 1.6 is more than just a game. This is time. This is memory. This is a feeling that cannot be explained to those who have never played. You remember the first time you logged into a server, how your heart pounded when you were left alone against everyone else. There were no graphics, no RTX, no effects. There was only reaction, pure concentration. When you don't think, you just feel. You move the mouse as if the game is still going on, even though the battle is already over. It's like the aftertaste after a good movie. You want to stay inside it for another minute. Sometimes it seems like old games never age. We just grow, and they remain the same. Honest, direct, without pretense. You look at the recording timer. An hour has passed, but it feels like a minute has flown by. Italy is a map where everything is both simple and complex at the same time. An old market, narrow streets, sunlight on stone walls. You know every corner, but each time it greets you in a new way. And maybe that's its magic, the eternal repetition that never gets old. You open the menu, hovering over the disconnect button. But you don't press it. Let the map linger on the screen a little longer. It's as if you're saying goodbye not to a game, but to something bigger, to a time when everything was simpler. Your hands are a little tired, but content. The mouse moves, a light click. A calm smile appears on your face. That was TapPlaay. Thank you for being with me this hour. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments what you'd like to play in the next video. Maybe we should go back to Dust 2? Or take a chance on Inferno? Your ideas are the fuel for future games. You turn off your laptop. All that remains in the room is the reflection of the screen, where the word, victory, hangs. The footsteps in the game have faded, but the echo of gunshots still rings somewhere inside. CS 1.6 isn't just a game. It's a feeling. And as long as there are people who play it even occasionally, it will live on.